Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go. All right, and welcome to the Our Balls Are Bigger post-game show, the very first edition, and we're very happy to have you along. I am Michael Ball, and I'm joined by the great Manny Arsenault, the Manny Show, BC Lion, Edmonton Elk, and Saskatchewan Rough Rider. Welcome to the show, Manny.
Hold on.
Hey, man.
Can you hear me?
I got you, man. You got me?
Yeah.
You got me there, big man?
Oh, I got you now. What's
yeah,
going
everybody
on?
got
I wanted to make sure you.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah,
we got you, man. So, a fourth quarter collapse by the Edmonton Elks. They just can't seem to get out of their own way, Manny. Talk about it first. Just that, you got your culture. You're trying to win games, and it's tough, man. They just can't seem to get over the hump.
Yeah, that comes with football for the most part, but it boils back down to alignment, assignment, execute. But you'll be surprised, even at the pro level, of how you have to be locked in and the attention and detail. And knowing the Rough Riders, SAS in general, that's a team you have to match their intensity. You're thinking week one, you got to match it, whether that's just physically, mentally, emotionally. That's a team that's coming out to play. But like you saw at the game, it's the late mistakes in the game that can be an issue for any team. Turnovers get you beat, number one. But it's the costly mistakes. You're looking early in the game, like the holding calls in the red zone. Those could be points, but it's just penalties and turnovers, man, that can kill everything. It can kill the morale. If you watch that game, it boils down to the penalties and doggone the late turnovers at the end. But some things be out of your control. But it's just being disciplined. And I guess that's not just as easy as it sounds to play a clean, disciplined football game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Manny, we got a lot of calls here, and we're going to take the first one out of the chute. This is all about the calls, and before I get to our first caller, it's the Our Balls Are Bigger post-game show. I'm a guy that's been known for doing the post-game. They know who Manny Arsenault is. If you're new to knowing who I am, I've covered Rough Rider football for almost 30 years, predominantly as the post-game and pre-game show host. I was the play-by-play announcer for the team for the last 2 years. I get to do my own show here, so we're going to go raw. We're going to go uncut. It's pretty well open here unless you get stupid with some comments, but for the most part, we'll let you have at her. I don't have to answer to any bozos now that did a cup of coffee shift in Rosetown or whatever, or a sales guy that thinks all of a sudden he's a sports guy. I'm my own boss. I get to do my own thing, and I got my buddy Manny Arsenault riding shotgun. So let's get out to the phone calls, and let's say hi to Sheldon. Go ahead, Sheldon, the people's champ. You're on with Ballsy and Manny Arsenault.
Ballsy, you can hear me loud and clear?
I got you, buddy.
Good, man. Well, your balls are bigger, Ballsy, but my balls were in my stomach for 3 quarters of football. Holy Christ. I listen, I'm going to touch on a few things that I'd like to see corrected, then we're going to hit some good things at the end. But first off, the run game. Alette 8 for 22 yards in the first half. It felt like every second play or every first down in the first half, they were force-feeding him to try to develop the run game. I wish they would have just taken the top off the defense in the first half, and they'd have blown Edmonton out by 30 points. For whatever reason, we stuck to just pounding Alette up the gut. That wasn't as bad, however, as the penalties. Manny, you touched on it, man. Second quarter alone, 2 drives in a row. We're looking like we're going down to score points. We take misconduct penalties after misconduct penalties. Kick us out to midfield. We get nothing on those. Alfred gets the return touchdown. That gets called back. And even in the fourth quarter, at the worst opportune time when our defense is finally stepping up, playing rock solid, we take a stupid taunting penalty. And I hate using that phrase, Ballsy. I know it's the first game of the year, but it don't fucking matter. These guys are professionals. At the end of the day, you can't be undisciplined. Those were all undisciplined penalties. I get it. It's an emotional game. But for fuck's sakes, Ballsy, you got to dial it in when it matters.
Yeah, and Manny, I wanted to touch on something Sheldon said here, Manny. Okay, you got
Yeah.
two of the best returners in the game, and Javon Leake and Mario Alford. I mean, they're good enough to outrun some guys. If you can't see the guy's helmet face to face, like his face mask, leave him the hell alone. What are you doing?
Look, like when you sit in those meetings at the pro level, they tell you, we pay this guy X amount of money to make the first guy miss. You shouldn't have to hold anyway, because when they go back and look at the film, the guy wasn't going to make the tackle. That was near the returner. But like I say, man, that can take the life and just the momentum out of a team. You get what I'm saying? You got two of the most dynamic guys playing. But when they go back and look at the film, it's going to be a guy that didn't even need to be blocked. Let him run free. They was going to take care of him anyway, and that'd be the crazy part.
Yeah. Hey, Manny, and Sheldon, I'll get to you again. I know you get some great comments.
Oh, yeah.
Manny, Corey Mace is a new head coach. He's trying to set a culture. I love Logan Ferlin. He's an upcoming offensive lineman, good Saskatchewan boy. Jaden Dahlke, the Edmonton kid, he's throwing around the wood, but he got a stupid taunting penalty. He has to set a tone in that locker room, doesn't he now? We can't afford these stupid penalties. I don't care if it's week number 1.
Yeah. Now, and I think for the most part, man, when you in those trenches, it's words being said, a lot going on. And like you said, it's no excuse when you're a pro. But when you can't control your emotions, that's going to happen at any age, whether you're 6 years old, 26 years old, or however, you got to learn to control your emotions. But I think for the most part, he's going to address that. He's going to address the bad before he address the good. And guys just got to fall in line. And being a veteran guy, there's no excuse for that. So that was one of those moments where, like you say, his emotions got the best of him. But I'm assuming that guy going to apologize to the team, take responsibilities for his action. And that might be in a post-game breakdown because that could have been something that could have shifted the entire game. A staple that's on the O-line, and you lose that piece, not even due to injury. And with the small rate, with the roster and ratios, you just can't lose guys in the CFL like that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. For sure. Hey, Sheldon, what else you got, bro?
Yeah, I'm going to be frank with you. I'm glad you guys touched on it. You got to nip that in the bud now because we played the Edmonton Elks. We watched them puke all of last year all over themselves. Tonight, we come out in the third quarter. We're not ready. They literally flattened us in the third quarter. We had nothing going. There was no creativity. I mentioned it before. Alet's going up the gut every single time, and we're not creating any holes for him. Guys, why weren't we using Bain and some of these weapons earlier on? Finally, you get to the fourth quarter. They said, okay, I guess we paid $500,000 for Trevor Harris. We got this kid named Bain that can take the top off the defense. They let the boys go to work, and we absolutely flattened them. So I'm happy they got it together in time. Hopefully, moving forward, we're not sitting there waiting 3 quarters to let our playmakers play football. And I get it, Ballsy. We paid all this money to make a big splash in the offseason with Alet. He's a gifted player. Allow him to play effectively by taking the top off the defense, having those linebackers sag back a bit because they were stacking 6 or 7 guys in the box every first down for the first 3 quarters until they realized they had to respect Bain's speed. So credit to the offense and the offense coordinator for finally getting it together. Alford, Bain, Harris, standout players tonight. I felt like our defense stepped up big in the fourth quarter when we needed them. And lastly, Ballsy, I am going to touch on something. I was hitting pretty hard last year on our offensive line, and by no means am I excusing them for some of the penalties they had tonight because it was horse shit. But what I watched tonight was a collective unit pass protection of an A+ grade. I was severely impressed with the pass protection Trevor Harris was given tonight. He wasn't rushed. I didn't see balls getting batted every 2 seconds. He wasn't scrambling for his life. It felt to me tonight anyway that the O-line's pass protection was there. So I'm happy to say that that's a definite positive note going forward.
Sheldon, it's always great to talk to you. Can't wait to have you on again. Take care, my friend.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Take care. All right. That is Sheldon, the people's champ. Now, he touched on something there, Manny, and I want to bring this up. AJ Ouellette is a workhorse. He's not going to dance. He's not going to dance you in the hole, but because he's there, because he's good for 3, 4, 5 yards in a cloud of dust, that keeps your defensive line somewhat in check, which helps with the play action pass. So we saw, I think, the residual effect of having that bull in the backfield.
Right, yeah. But you got to look at it like this, too. Once the blueprint out on you as a guy in the league, people can't prepare for you. He's not playing complimentary football no more with the Andrew Harris and splitting reps. Like, he's the guy. But as you look at a new head coach, I got my offensive coordinator in, you get put in those situations where people ask, are you playing to win or not to lose? And I think that's a game. We're going to go with what's working. We're not going to just throw too much out there, but can we get in a groove to where we can go and win this game? But like you said, most people know Chris Jones going to load up the box. He's going to go cover zero. He's going to bring the dogs at you. And that's what you're used to. That hey, man, bend but don't break defense. But now you see guys was dropped off, guys playing coverage. So it's like, what is he really doing? People was making plays on defense for Edmonton tonight, but I just think for SAS and both teams, it boiled down to, who going to make the fewer mistakes, and whoever had the ball at the end of the game going to be the team that win. Because it was a close game throughout. Penalties on both sides. It was, I wouldn't say it was sloppy. It was just undisciplined football. But those games boiled down to, okay, who can make the fewer mistakes, and whoever end up with this ball at the end of the game in their hands could be the one to win.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's go to Ryan. Ryan Hall checking us out here. Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show. Go ahead, Halsey. Are you there, Ryan? Ryan is not there. I don't have Ryan. Let's see if I can get him. Nope, he's not there. Let's try Jamie here. Jamie, are you there? Jamie there. No, we don't have Jamie either. Okay, well, we'll try to get there. And listen, we're going to have a little bit of clunkiness here because I am doing this all myself. Now, Manny, let's talk about Edmonton for a second, okay? You've got a city now that's Oilers crazy, okay? I know you're in Texas now, but you were in Edmonton. That team, they had it's the 75th year. Everybody's in there. They're all the old guys, Moon, Dunnigan, everybody, and they find a way to lose. How do you find a way to win, though, Manny? Because they got to be under an immense amount of pressure there in Edmonton.
You said they found a way to lose, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, I just take it. You got to take this thing. Every rep matters mentality, one play at a time. But it's going to take those guys, you know what I'm saying, sticking together. This ain't the time to start doing that. It's week one. But you have to have a sense of urgency. There's no panic, but sense of urgency. And it just boils down to the details. And I'm quite sure Jones going to hit him with, hey, man, we just wasn't disciplined. The attention to detail wasn't there. We didn't, like they say, my coach, George Stewart, the Vikings used to say, hey, man, when you sign that check, that means that's your work. So you got to autograph your work. And I don't think guys autographed their work tonight because that was a very winnable game. Gino out there making plays. Mayala come in, he's making plays. Kevin Brown, Dylan Mitchell, couple catches. Like, that game could have went any direction, like a game of tug of war. But like always, you say, man, it's the attention to detail. And, you get tired of seeing it, or they finding ways to lose games. Until they just start winning, people going to continue to voice those opinions and figure Edmonton is a team that do those type of things. But I think they have the pieces to get over that hump. Is whether or not the guys that's playing the game believe that.
Yeah, so we got Dave sent a chat in. Congratulations to Coach Mace on his first win. He almost avoided the Gatorade shower at the end of the game. Talk about, how a team wants to win for a young coach like that. He seems like a guy people would want to play for, Corey Mace.
Hey, man, and that's what it is. It's all about relationships. He played the game. He been around. But it's the buy-in. And you know what? That's what I give Coach Mace. It's the buy-in from his coaching staff to the players. And that community, Riderville, they kind of shaky because, they figure, hey, you should go over here and dominate this Edmonton team. But a win is a win. But I just think, man, it's the relationships and what I'm looking for, the reputation he have across the league. And as you look at the build-up all through the offseason, training camp, now they playing real games, no more preseason. So they can say, hey, this week we 1-0. And, when you're playing in Saskatchewan, it's about the wins. And that's all they care about. But I think he has the buy-in from the guys over there. So it's going to be tough in the West.
Yeah, for sure. What do you like about? Let's get to one of the rider receivers here, Sean Bain Jr. He had the hat trick of touchdowns today, kind of appropriate with the Edmonton Oilers going to play in the Stanley Cup Final tonight. But he had 3 touchdowns today, and you talked about it. You said we were texting back and forth during the game, and you even mentioned it here. When a guy's new to the league, people don't know how to prepare for him. This guy's going into his 4th season, but really second as a mainstay receiver.
Starter. Yeah.
What are you seeing from Sean Bain? What do you like about his game? Where do you want to see that game go?
Hey, we all start off as a complimentary guy to somebody who's the guy. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be tough on him because I play the receiver position. I need him to be consistent. No balls need to touch the ground. But you know what? You score those 3 touchdowns, we don't remember the drops of those plays that happen. But continue to detail your work. Man, he has potential, like you say, to be one of those guys, man, when they start speaking top 10 guys. He had a potential, and Trevor, the quarterback, to get the ball to him. So, I think it's going to be big, man, but he showed up in crucial time, gut-checking time, and he was able to have the next play mentality. You know, a drop ain't going to define the rest of my night. Trevor, I'm going to come right back to you. And them other guys going to heat up his too. You got Emulus over there. You got Schaefer Baker. You know, you got a bunch of guys, man, at any given time, it can be their night out there on game day.
All right, let's see if we got Jamie on the phone. Jamie, are you there? Jamie's not there. She's got intermittent service. You can click the link that we set out on all our social media pages, and we'll take as many calls as we can. We've had you got to have good cell service or, good internet service in order to join us. You can always hit the chat button too, and we can get you from all our social media channels. Like James Hamilton, Riders didn't play that well. Costly penalties on returns and turnovers. Regardless, I'm still packing for Vancouver in November, boys. Well, I would cool it on the Grey Cup parade just yet, but definitely. Hey, you know what I like though? Mark Mueller's a great up-and-coming young coach. He's been in the league for a while. He's been in a room. I mean, hey, he's been in the room with Bo Levi Mitchell, Dave Dickinson, and John Huffnagel in Calgary. That's an embarrassment of wisdom that you get to pick their brains. I thought it was a real ballsy call at the end of the game when he called that pass. I think it was probably a design play. Trevor Harris going up top to Bain Jr. to seal the game.
Yeah, and he probably was thinking cover 0. We got to get this ball out. But if we pick it up and you have time, we're going to take this shot. So, you know what? You either way it go, you gave your quarterback an option. And unfortunately, they went up top and was able to get a touchdown at the end because Edmonton's thinking we have to get off this field. We need to stop right now. But like I say, he's been around those greats, and it's always good when you have those guys, man, when you're talking Hall of Fame caliber people that you're in the room with. But it's like for Coach, it's just having his own identity. And that's what's going to come around because he's going to probably be highly sought after once he gets, become consistent and show what his body work look like. And that's what it's about, man. When these head coaches or organization have guys work their way up, they're grooming the next head coach. They're grooming the next GM. They're grooming the next somebody to be somebody that continue to grow this CFL game. And that's what I like about the opportunities that's being presented.
Let's welcome Nick Saragella to the show. Nick, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Nick. How's it going, man? What'd you think of the game?
What's that?
What'd you think of the game?
Well, for a first game, there's still a lot of warts on the frog, I guess, as you could put it. Just seen, I just think some of the discipline issues still need to be addressed, but I'm sure they'll get to that. So, it's a gutsy effort on the road. Anytime you can win on the road, I think in the CFL, that's a bonus.
Let's talk about the graybeard Trevor Harris for a second, Nick. He comes back from a career-threatening injury, and in the fourth quarter, rallies his team. Yes, they got some help with turnovers, but he directed 2 touchdown drives that won them the game. Just talk about that from the quarterback.
I've always liked Trevor Harris. I liked him when he wasn't playing for us, and he used to come into Mosaic and tear us apart. And I think it was when he was with Ottawa, he came in that one time, and he was like, I think he only had like 1 or 2 incompletions the entire game. And I've always liked him. And, going into this year, a little skeptical because of the injury last year. And good to see him get that first win and get some confidence. And I thought him and the receivers were on cue quite a bit. And he had a couple drop balls, or it could have been even better.
Yeah, for
So
sure. Yeah, he did. What'd you think of that big bull, AJ Ouellette in the backfield?
I like him. I like him. I like to see him get a little bit more steam up on a couple of those runs. Once he gets the ball, and it's something we haven't had for quite a few years, right? I think the last guy was probably Zarka or whatever that could steam pile, like go through that pile.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah, I just think if once he gets rolling, he'll be, the offensive line, gives him a little more room. He's going to be dangerous.
All right, Nick, thanks for your time, man. Have yourself a great day, okay?
You bet.
Appreciate it. Thanks. All right. So Manny, let's talk about that for a second. So we talked about AJ Ouellette, and he's a solid running back, 1,000-yard back. But here's a guy that played behind the best offensive line the last couple of years and didn't get, all of the carries because he had a platoon backfield with Andrew Harris. But what he benefited from was being able to run downhill. Teams weren't touching him 3-4 yards off the line of scrimmage. That's something the Riders' offensive line will have to get to because, he needs to get up that head of steam. He's not going to deke you out in a hole. But I am surprised how good he is out of the backfield. He made a couple of nice catches today out of the backfield.
Oh, yeah, versatile, man. Downhill back, man. He got that running style. Mike Allstott used to be with the Bucks back in the day.
Yeah.
With that bruiser mentality. But that's the thing, man. Them old linemen going to start forming holes because when they feel his face plate and that shoulder going in the back of their back because they're not moving their feet, they're going to learn to get out the way and start creating holes for him. But now, man, I'm a fan of his game. And you wouldn't even think that style of runner would just bring so much notoriety to the CFL with that downhill style because we're so used to being a passing league that it's like, having a fullback is the same as saying, hey, we're going to go with a true tight end body, which both can work and be successful. But he's just opening doors for guys that have that downhill style. Let me get you 5-6 yards. Plus, he can catch out the backfield. So, you know what? He can do it all. And it's just going to keep getting better.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's go to Corey. My buddy Corey in Weyburn. You're on, Corey. How are you? Corey, are you there? Maybe some intermittent service issues too. Okay, so we'll try to circle back. Let's try Jamie here for the 4th time. Jamie, are you there, Jamie? Jamie, are you there? No. Okay, well, we'll get them to circle back again. All right. So, Manny, I jotted down a few notes here.
Okay.
Kevin Brown.
Yeah.
We talked about the Riders running back. Kevin Brown has the potential to be one of the elite backs in this league. Just your thoughts on him, the back in Edmonton.
Absolutely, man. He has the potential to do a lot of things. He just got to, like I say, man, your body of work, you got to sign that check. But I think once he put a foot in the ground, don't be as hesitant on making a guy miss, but lowering his pad level and sprint through guys' soul, oh, man, it's going to get ugly. And that's the thing, because he can catch, he's elusive, and he gains speed as he runs. So that's something most people don't take into consideration is the speed he have. But them having Leak now with that 1-2 punch, offset your the tempos, he a gadget guy here and there. But I think with KB, if he lower his pad level and start sprinting through people's soul, they're going to start talking about him like they talking about AJ over there in SAS.
All right. What do you see from that Edmonton offense? Do you like how it's going to look maybe under McLeod, Bethel, Thompson?
Yeah. I think so, man. You give McLeod a clean pocket. You're going to go through his reads, first read, second read, third read, check down to the back. But it's just them gelling, man, getting that, just familiar with the guys in the huddle, people making plays, and knowing that it's only one football. You got to keep Geno active and involved. We didn't get too much from a deep presence, but he was able to catch underneath and get the yak because he's going to raise the roof. So if he doing this, it's in trouble. Other teams in trouble. But I think that offense, man, going to do what it do. I'm a big fan of Jarius Jackson. Heck, he was my quarterback at one point in time. But I like what he's doing, man, as a play caller. And he's another guy, man. You'll run through a brick wall for him. And it's just all about the guys buy-in. And games take time, it takes time to win because it's not an easy thing to do, but it just comes with consistency. And I think McLeod got that leadership to get those guys to start playing with a sense of urgency and locking in on the small details. And that's what it's going to take to get them over the hump.
All right. We encourage your texts and following us on social media. Jerry says it's nice to have Manny on the show. Of course it is. Got this from Asparagus Electric. Go Durs, Riders. Steve Huber says, what's up? Yeah, people are pretty pumped. I think they were expecting the Rough Riders to drop their 8th straight game, but they found a way to get it done here, rallying for a victory over the Edmonton Elks football team. When we look at, you talk about the penalty to Furland, and Logan Furland's one of those guys coming up, but it's funny. One simple little play like that, Manny, and it changes everything. Sevier has to come in. He has to come in cold as a guard. He gets bull rushed the first time. There's 2 quarterback sacks right away. That's a tough predicament, and I love Logan Furland, but that's a tough predicament to put your team in right away.
Hey, he told his teammate, hey, welcome to pro football.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, he ready now, but, that was just stupid, man. It was very stupid on his behalf, and I think he'll own up to it and say it was stupid. It was just a dumb, selfish penalty that wasn't even needed. You swung at a guy that's 145 pounds, a safety or somebody. Like, you deal with guys in the trenches that's 6'4", 6'5", 300. Do that to them guys. You know what I'm saying? But that's a little skill guy. And, if you can get plays back, that's one I know he would want back. But hopefully he learned from that dumb mistake and just don't do nothing dumb again.
Let's try Derek here. Derek, are you there?
Hi, how's it going,
Derek,
Ballsy?
I got you. Good, Derek. How are you, man?
Good. I guess I was somewhat happy with the game, but AJ Ouellette, he really didn't do anything all game, and that was because of the O-line, and we got little Stearns in there blocking, and I don't understand how the hell Stearns is going to get us anywhere this year. I know he's a good receiver. He had the one bad drop, but we need to have some size if he's going to be blocking inside. And AJ, he's got to hang on to that ball. He has to hang on to that ball. And then Milligan, I think, landed either on his head or his shoulder. And he was probably our best defensive player today. I'm really concerned that, I'm a little concerned about his health now. And I don't know, just a couple points that things really got to me there. And I just don't understand why they have Stearns blocking inside. Like, that's Manny Arsenault territory. That's not little Stearns.
Yeah. Hey, man, thanks for the call. I'll let Manny address that here. Appreciate it, Derek. We'll get to you in a second, Jamie. Hopefully it works this time. But, the CFL is a great league for guys like Kyron Moore, like Stearns, like Sneed. It's a second chance league. It's an undersized league. Those guys can play, but it is tough when you get in there. If you're coaching the smaller receivers that aren't big like you, Manny, what are you telling them when they're in there to block, kind of as a tight end type?
Hey, just get in the way. That's all you got to tell him. Get in the way. Because if he's occupied with you, he can't go make the tackle. And sometimes every block ain't a kill shot, and that's what people want, the pancake, the put you on my Twitter, Instagram block. But sometimes all you have to do is get in the way. Because as long as that defender's being occupied with you, he's not making a tackle. And that's what some guys don't realize, that it ain't about going in there, you know what I'm saying, laying a guy out. As a smaller guy, you just have to get in the way. And most of the time, they're not going to expect you to even block half of the time. So they just going to throw you out the way. But like my guy Jamie said, look, I got about 23, 24 more games in me. I'm feeling good. I'm in pretty good shape. I can definitely come make some blocks.
I love it, man. Hey, so talk about, with that in mind, because we saw Keyshawn Johnson play his first game as a receiver for the Rough Riders. Guys are playing their first game. What was it like for you, your first game? Do you remember your first game? And, what was that like?
Oh, man, I was fired up because I think it was with Winnipeg, when they come over to SAS, and then we got to go over there the next week. But, man, I loved it because for the longest, I thought SAS hated me. All those years I was in BC playing and getting all the little banter from fans. But, man, they welcomed me, man, with open arms. And it was just exciting, and the game, that was my first game. It's one of the biggest stages that you can play that week throughout the CFL because everybody's watching SAS play Winnipeg. But man, it was exciting, coming out the tunnel, hearing them play that T.I. song, bring them out, bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. I don't care if you play for SAS or you coming in there as the visiting team. That gives you chills, man. But to put on that jersey, that helmet, strap it on, it ain't no feeling like playing in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, that is I've always asked guys that. I said, how does it, when you're on the opposing sideline, how much do you long to have a chance to play in Saskatchewan before your career is done? Like, were you happy you got a chance to play in Rider Nation before it ended?
Man, absolutely. It's a blessing whenever you can extend your career and continue playing. It's hard. You just can't wake up and say, hey, I'm on a pro roster. So if you can play till the wheels fall off, why not? But just to go in there and play for a community that love their football players, like, that's different. It's unmatched, man, because once you there, and the people know who you are. You ain't going around. You walk out your house and go anywhere in Regina, you're going to see somebody that's going to speak to you. You better hope you win, because they're going to say congratulations. And if you're not winning, they're going to become a coach. Whether you in Safeway, anywhere you in, they're going to talk Rough Rider football with you. And that's what you want, because that's what it's about, the fans.
So how do we get that back in Edmonton? Is it a good football town, do you think? It's just a matter of winning some games?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Edmonton welcomed me with open arms, but I'm a community guy, and I keep everything about the fans. And I just think that's what kind of opened up doors for me, was the approach I take off the field. And I think more guys should do that too, because if those folks aren't in the stands, you won't be playing football. But if you out in that community, wear that green and that gold, proudly, interact with people, talk with folks. You know what I'm saying? Let these fans know that you appreciate them coming to watch you play. And that's something that I've done my whole career, man. And it works out for you, and it goes a long way. And that's what it's going to take, the community. The community the buy-in is players, coaches, support staff, community. Everybody is part of the buy-in. Even the Oilers, the Edmonton Oil Kings, even if they got the basketball folks that's over there, the Edmonton, what are they? What's the basketball team over there? Well, I was about to say the Stingers. The basketball. They got the basketball team in Edmonton too.
Yeah, the name slipped my mind, but I know.
I think it is the Stingers. It might be that.
It is the Stingers. You're right.
Like the buy-in is from all platforms of sports that's in the community, man. That's how it should be. They within 5-10 minutes of each other. Everyone supports everyone, and that's what it's going to take.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you think of the Riders' 38, Jaden Dalkey? He did take a taunting penalty, but he's just a physical guy in the middle there. What's that like as a receiver? Do you got to keep your head up with a guy like that? Because he had a great hit in the game. Yeah, I thought it was a headshot, but it was actually a great shoulder shot to the chest.
Yeah, see me, I'm going to cave his face mask in if you ever try to hit me like that. But and I believe he's a hometown kid too, with Jake Taylor and all of them. I think he's the Edmonton boy.
Yeah.
So he playing in front of all his family. So he going to play on a whole nother level, whether or not you know it. So whoever going up against him better bring their A game, because he probably got mom, dad, uncle, classmate, cousin, best friend, everybody in the stands watching. But I'm a fan of his game. He's a work daddy. He gonna come in putting the work. And I remember them speaking on him last year, but he's a guy that's gonna come in and do what he have to do. So you can't do nothing but respect that, especially when it's coming from your Canadian talent. Guys that's willing to step in, not shy away from competition, and don't mind getting in there using those pads and that good old Rydell helmet.
Yeah, I like the kid 17 on the Elks, Dylan Mitchell. He's a pretty slick football player, and I actually like the way he's blocking, which I know you'd appreciate.
Yeah, man. Dylan just got to keep stacking the days, putting good days together, staying consistent, and everything else will take care of itself. But he's one of those guys that they've been expecting to have a breakout year, and this might have to be the year. So everybody tired of waiting. Go do what you got to do, D. Mitch.
Yeah. So Geno Lewis, a guy that we kind of slept on early in the game, but when he had to make a big play, he came up with some big plays for the Edmonton Elks. Just talk about Geno Lewis, what you like about his game.
Yeah, man, they just got to feed him, and that's going to come. But when you're the man, you think you're just going to be left wide open. So guys got to understand, when you're the guy, sometimes your role change from week to week, depending on what defenses do, how they disguise coverages, which way they're going to roll to. But when the ball came his way, he did what he had to do. And when you're the man, that's just what's going to happen. So it's just guys learning to be pros. And, when you're the guy, you might want 10, 12 targets a game, but it ain't like that no more. The G. Roy Simon, the S.J. Green era, the Jamal Richardson and all them cats back in the day, Dressler, them 10, 12 targets. Hey, man, they get slim and slimmer because now there's more guys around, and you have to learn to play complementary football. But, Geno's a pro's pro. He's learning the game, and it was good to be there with him last year, man, showing him the ropes on how to be a pro.
Mm-hmm. Have you come to you're talking about, hey, I can still play. Have you come to grips with your retirement?
Yeah, man. You know what? I'm just not playing football. That's how I look at it. I'm not signed to a team right now, but that's how I look at it. Now, next year, I say, you know what? The retirement life is pretty good. Right now, I'm just I'm just unsigned. You see all these injuries going on. It's a lot of new guys. They might not be learning the game fast enough. And from the looks of it, a lot of coaches in this, we got to win right now situation. So you never know. About a month or two, a call might come because, hey, guys aren't figuring it out. Guys aren't giving what we want. Who we can bring in that can be this player's coach, grow him up the next guy. And you know what? I told you, 18 to 20-something games in me to give somebody that to pass the baton like in track. I'm not trying to come in as the Manny Show, knowing that it's all about me. I did that for a very long time, consistently. Now you got to groom up the next crop so they know what to do. They know how to be a pro. They know how to prepare. So that's the whole thing about when you don't have certain vets in the locker room and in the building. These guys figuring it out as they go. So it might take a whole season. It might take 8 weeks. They don't know. They don't have a blueprint to go off of.
Speak to me about your impressions on a guy like Trevor Harris coming back from a career-threatening injury. Guy broke his knee, basically. It was a terrible looking injury, and he comes back and in his first game throws for 3 touchdowns. Let's not appreciate this. He did it on a slick turf in Edmonton too.
Oh yeah, man. I'm always a fan. I've always been a fan of his game. Back in Ottawa and this or that, I couldn't stand him because, man, all these doggone completions he gonna get on you. But he's a grinder, man. And at the age of 30 plus, they wrote him off. They didn't think he would come back. People probably thought Sass was stupid for even signing him and putting as much of an investment in him and seeing the guy come back. He want to win. He want guys around him that want to play, that's going to do what they're going to have to do to win. So you kind of got to cheer for guys like that, man, that's going to have a story at the end of the day because they wasn't afraid to embrace the grind. So Trevor Harris, and he part of that era, last of the Mohicans, man. It ain't too many around. Mike Riley done. You got Bo still in there. Now you got Trevor, So these the guys that then paved the way, that been around, that shared time with Ricky Ray that they was honoring even today out that way. So those guys, man, you got to give props and credit when it's due. They've been around when the game then changed and shifted to where it's at now. So he's been consistent, man. He's a guy that thrown for a lot of yards year in and year out.
Yeah. So you got McLeod Bethel-Thompson back in the league. You've got Trevor Harris. You mentioned Bo Levi Mitchell. Zach Collaros is an older guy.
Oh, yeah, in Winnipeg, yes.
Yeah. So should we be concerned, though, about getting the next crop of stars coming in as the quarterback? Because right now what happens is the NFL only has about probably 12 top-tier quarterbacks. That's honest, 12 or 13. And
right.
The guys who would normally come to the CFL, like when you first started, they're not coming to the CFL because they're staying. The NFL is hungry for quarterbacks. Those guys are staying there. They're looking for those RPO quarterbacks, which they never used to look for before. So should we be concerned about a lack of quarterbacking in the CFL?
Not really, man, because they're gonna always keep something in the chamber in the CFL. They've been around 104, 5, 6 years, and it ain't going anywhere. But for the most part, though, the next crop of quarterbacks I think need to be CFL ready and start getting snaps here and there. I don't know if teams got a lot of points they up by or games out of reach. Those guys need to get reps so you can see what this next crop of guys can do. What Drew Brown's over there in Ottawa right now. You got Jake that's over there in Calgary. You got a VA. He got it finally figured out, but it took him some time to become that guy that's, hey man, I'm top tier. This is what I can do. But I think for those guys, don't only get to that level, you have to take real game reps. That's like a Trey Ford. Everybody's screaming for Trey Ford. Trey Ford need those game reps to become seasoned and ready to play. And that's just what it is. So with these veteran guys, the young guys can do all they want in practice. But when these bullets are live, it's different on game day. But guys just got to wait their turn. And that sucks playing quarterback because there's only one of them. And the other one, short yardage. So,
Yeah.
and that, right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What do you think of those Elks unis?
Oh yeah, they sweet. I like the green.
You like them, man. You like those. You like those. I give it.
Look. Yeah, they straight. I was part of that. When BC we came out with the gunmetal black.
Yeah.
With the back in the day. So I like the green on green, black on black, white on white, any color on color. I like that. So it's smooth.
This is Manny Arsenault. I'm Ballsy, the Our Balls Are Bigger post-game show. We got some openings if you want to call in. What I'm finding out here in our first ever show is you have to have pretty good coverage in terms of your internet service because people have been dropping out. But you can also chat with us on our social media pages at Ballsy Uncut. So, Manny, people want to know your take on tomorrow's game, the BC Lions and the Toronto Argonauts. Toronto, of course, Cameron Duke's leading the show, and you mentioned VA and the Lions going in there. They got the pressure of hosting the Grey Cup this year.
Man, it ain't no pressure. They got the city behind them. Folks bought in. The president all in. He's on board. BC staff all in. They video guys. You look at them on Twitter and social media, all in. So it's about the players going to handle business. They got everybody, all the support that they need to be successful, to go out there and worry about one thing, being a football player. And that's all you want when you're a football player. I don't want to worry about anything else. But I think it's going to be a good one. And, big play VA, that's what they call him. He just got to handle his business. He got his receiving core, possibly one of the best that can be in the league, So it's going to be interesting. They got a downhill back, stand back over there now.
Yeah.
Somebody that's going to be able to get them extra 3, 4, 5 yards, and you give them a big enough crease and take it the distance. That defense, it's not a lot of new faces and new turnover in BC. So I'm expecting that group to play some complementary football, offensively, defensively, and special teams.
So if you want to call in, you can do it video-wise, but make sure you show us your face on the screen. We don't want to see the top of your forehead or your hat. We got Ryan here, Ryan Hall joining us here. Coach Hall, drop your I just see the top of your head. Bring it down a little bit so I could. There you go. There's Coach Hall. Ryan, your thoughts on the game? Oh, get your audio there, Ryan. Can you find it? Yeah, the technical glitches. Ryan can't seem to get his mic on there. Ryan, can you get your mic on? No, he's done. He's at the lake. See, that's the problem here, Manny. You got to have great internet service in order to be joining us, at least via calls. We'll address some of your messages via Facebook and via our
right.
Twitter
Look,
feed.
I see the little Facebook stuff on the side. I'm reading some of these folks.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. So, who do you got in that game tomorrow, BC or Toronto?
Man, good well. I got BC. I got to root for BC. That's where my career started, man, and I like what they doing. And it ain't too often you ever catch me rooting for an East Coast team. So, yeah. Hey, listen, this guy on here named Dr. Phil say, Balls, you need to interact with the chat.
I know.
Well, the people aren't saying nothing in the chat.
Well,
So
Dave just said, give Trevor Harris a nod for making the tackle on the fumble at the end of the game. It would have went a long way if he didn't. So
right.
give Trevor Harris a nod. And hey, give him a nod, because when you come back, let's talk about that. When you come back from a serious injury, it's not just the physical side, Manny. It's the mental side of the game. Talk about that.
Oh yeah, very mental, man. Because you want to say, hey, it's like being a quarterback or a specialist. They don't pay me to go out here and tackle people, and every time they do something, it can be a fluke injury. So that always stick in the back of your mind. But you also saying, I don't want to look like a new, you know what, on film when we watch the next day, and I whiff at a guy and just move out the way. So it go both ways, but that's a guy that's out there trying to win and doing what he has to do for his team to be successful.
How much did you, after a game like this, where you have the lead 21-8, and then you got to go in the next day for the grading, how much did you hate those days, Manny?
Shit. Oh, man. That'd be the one. Look, that'd be the one. You know me, I show up at the facility early. I already did the breakdown on the good and bad on me the night before I even got in there. But for me, I love to get coached. I love constructive criticism. So I want to go in that meeting with my notebook, with my pen to make the corrections. But that comes with being a pro's pro, being mature, being emotionally mature. That's what you have to be for those next days when it's a game you had and you let slip away. So that's what guys got to do. It's just one of those.
Hey, Manny, we got longtime CFL scout. He's been a multiple Grey Cup winner. It's Craig Smith joining us here. So let's just get Craig on. There's Craig. Hey, Craig, how are you, bro?
Doing okay. How are you doing?
Doing, man. Doing well. What'd you think of the game?
It's a very interesting game. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of good things and there was some bad. But what was impressive was Trevor Harris. Trevor Harris doing some Trevor Harris things, right?
Yeah.
Throwing stuff. The real neat thing was the offensive line, I thought, did a pretty darn good job, giving him some protection. Even Sevier's first obviously play wasn't that great. Got bold, got pushed back, but he came in and settled him down and thought he gave him good protection. McLeod Bethel Thompson threw for over 300 yards. The fumble was critical. I love the defense, the Saskatchewan defense, the way they flew to the football. I thought that was incredible. And I think, that defense is going to be pretty solid. They've got some athletes that can fly all over. I just wanted to mention in 2009, I was with BC when Manny came into BC. I was an Eastern scout with the Lions that year and flew in for training camp and saw him. I think he was working a lot with Lule at the time. And then at the end of the year, we lost at Olympic Stadium.
Montreal.
In the dome, and that was it. And then I was gone. I got let go and got on with Saskatchewan. But Manny was an amazing person, an amazing player in our league, and it's like work another Manny. He was one of those guys that was a clutch guy that would go over the middle. Knee block, he knocked the shit out of you too. So he was damn good.
Yeah. So did you know right away that Manny Arsenault was going to be a great player when you saw him?
Well, you think you did, you think you do, but you never know. We had a guy that came into our training camp, a guy by the name of Nunn. I think it was
Terrence Nunn, yeah.
And we thought, holy cow, we got to shut this guy down. Well, he was cut a few weeks. You never know, but I mean, Manny had all the tools. He had the size. He could catch. He was fearless. He could, go all that kind of stuff. So it was pretty good. But this game was very interesting. It was good for the Saskatchewan Roughriders to win that first game. Chris Jones's team, they still have issues with regards to discipline and things.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Absolutely. And Manny, you can comment on that, what Craig said there. I was going to bring that up. Good point by an astute football man, Craig. It's Chris Jones's teams, since he's been in Edmonton, that's been the negative staple. They take stupid penalties at inopportune times.
Right, man. You know what it is? Listen, that's why when I was done with ball, I need to transition to player development. I need to be in that building. Player development, help bridge the gap. Like I said, it's about being emotionally mature. And that's what a lot of people aren't, because you can't call a grown man weak-minded. They get offended by that. They're going to take offense. So are you emotionally mature? And when you're not, that's when you have those breakdown moments, because it's not talent at all. You get what I'm saying? It's the little stuff, being able to make those decisions, but it's really learning the concept of complementary team football, that when we huddle up, I'm counting on you to count on me to make a play, you know? And sometimes guys figure I have to do it all. I got to know my job, his job. No, you don't. Do your job. Let coach deal with the other part. But when you haven't been in a game that long and understand what it takes, or been around veteran guys to mold you up and show you how it is as a male or a man that's in charge, or just a breadwinner, what you figure, you think, I can figure this out. I can handle this. I can do this. Football don't work that way. That's the one sport you always count on somebody to do something to help you. And that's just what it is. But I think once that group, man, can figure it out, it's going to be crazy. But you know what, Mr. Craig, I'm proud of you, because I thought nobody loved me in 2009 because I wore number 74 in training camp. But you just made my day 13 years later.
You know, that's the thing. Like it was pretty interesting. And you know, they had Shivers was a guy, right? And bring guys in, and he was so good with regards to talent and stuff like that. And the other guy, it's so funny because I came to training camp one year, I think it was the year before, and I saw this kid, and he was working out as receiver, and I went to my my depth chart roster, and okay, who is this? He's working as a receiver, and Chapdelain's working him, and it's Andrew Harris. Who? Okay, well, what? He's a junior player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did not look out of place. I mean, it was incredible. And he actually went back and played junior and came back and made the team the same year in 2009, your first year.
Yeah. Yeah. Greatest of all time. Hey, Craig, before we let you go, who do you like tomorrow, BC or Toronto in that game?
I think BC. I think BC's probably going to be doing, doing what they need to do. It'll be interesting to see how Dukes does, because I've got a lot of admiration for his game, his mobility. He's like a good CFL quarterback that can do some good things, and interested to see him. But VA getting it going, and those receivers, receiver team, all going way back. I helped G-Roy actually get into with the BC Lions, and we for years it's been receivers galore. So.
Yeah. Hey, Craig, thanks for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you betcha. Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks, man. Call anytime. Hey, Manny, do you make much of what happened in Winnipeg? They came up real short against the Montreal Alouettes, but is that just a product of not playing in the preseason? Because they didn't do anything in the preseason, and they look real sloppy in that game.
Man, it take time. They suffer some injuries throughout training camp. Some guys get new opportunities. But it just take a while, and that's the thing, man. Fans aren't that patient. They want that microwave success right now. But sometimes it's like making a pot of gumbo or something still cut out. You got to let them things sit, take time to prepare this meal. But, fans, it's like, we want to win right now. I don't care what you say. Go out there. You're supposed to be this Grey Cup champion team, but on any given Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, whenever they play, a team can be beat, and that's just part of the game. And it's just like everything takes time. Like Roger from Facebook right now talking about the run game.
Yeah,
hey man, it's gonna take you. Just gotta. What's the flow of the game? What's working right now? But AJ gonna get his totes. He's gonna get his carries, and it's gonna open up for the play action and to take shots downfield, because now those people are going to have to step up to make those tackles. But the run game going to come. You got Trevor Harris at quarterback, Roger. So don't expect AJ to get a handoff every single time.
Well, and Manny, the most accurate passer in CFL history. Talk about that from a receiver's perspective, having the comfort of knowing that the ball's 7 times out of 10 going to be where it's supposed to be.
Oh, it's going to be there, like on the Cabo route. I think Schaefer Baker ran Cabo like a tuba concept. He slipped You know that that was that little turnover where they gave Bratton the interception. If the receiver don't slip, the ball right there across the middle. He put the ball right there, in and out the guy's hands. On the sideline, scramble drill, the ball's right there. He have this way of putting the ball where it needs to be for his receiver to catch it. So you want a quarterback like that. That means I can take my time. I don't have to rush or guess, man, is he going to get the ball where it need to go? So that's a plus.
Yeah. Hey, this is from Brian Firth on the chat. How big is the CTV partnership with TSN going to impact the CFL? It's going to be huge. Now they're going to do the select games after September, the Eastern playoff games, and the Grey Cup for sure. No Western playoff games. Not sure why that is, but it's just going to open up to a bigger audience, which is exactly what we need. And Manny, you went
listening.
You know, you went with the Manny show. That you knew about marketing, you knew about self-promotion, you knew about getting in the community.
Absolutely.
I believe though CFL players are the most undermarketed, underappreciated guys in professional sports. Every team and the league as a whole, and I know they've hired a person designated to do that this year. It's about time. The league needs promotion. That's why I'm doing my 3 times a week podcast and this Our Balls Are Bigger show after, because the league does need promotion. That's what it lacks. It's a great quality league. You look at it. Look at the missed field goal returns. Look at the punt returns. You're not seeing that in American football.
Right, or the last 10 minutes. So
yeah,
anything can happen in the CFL game. Like, it's not over till it's over. But that's like players, man. Players got to be active on these social platforms. Players got to get out in these communities. And what it's going to do is going to force the league to take note of that and realizing, like, you know what, that's what it's about. And if you really want something to grow and you really want to get attendance going, I see somebody asked about that, make it about the kids. Because as long as you got the kids involved in it, that means mom, daddy, grandma, somebody got to come to the game. And when you have beverages for them to be able to enjoy at the game, they gonna come back again. They might not even know who playing, but they gonna show up. Why? Because the kid had a good time. I was able to have a beverage of my choice. The food was good. I love the entertainment. But you gotta make it about these kids and get them out the house, man. Get them out there seeing football. Get out there and do the youth camps. Go talk at the schools. You know what? I'm finna give away 2,000 tickets to Edmonton School District or whatever they call it. Come out here and support. You got underprivileged youth. You know, you got the Salvation, all that. Hey, employees, we need you at the game. This the section. And I think once you do that, man, it's going to start to take off. But everything will start with youth. And look at it, man. You have earlier games. Wow, the kids are up. People driving from an hour and a half, 2 hours away. Look at BC. People got to catch the ferry. They got to do things. Hey, man, these 8 p.m., 10 p.m. games ain't what these 8 p.m. games ain't what it do. It's 1 o'clock on the East Coast. You know, it's late. So what you do, man, I got to adjust somehow, but you got to get these kids involved and get these kids in the stands.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to Coach Ryan Hall, accomplished coach in Saskatchewan. Ryan, what did you think of the game?
Well, it was an entertaining game. Obviously, you know, pretty close down to the end there. First of all, I was going to say, Michael, it's great to hear you back. It's been great to hear your show this week and to hear this show with you and Manny. Lots of fun.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you just kind of stole my thunder a little bit talking about special teams. You know how much I love special teams. I think that, you know, watching the game last night and then watching today, you know, we just have to quit looking over the border and think that we have to do everything the NFL has to do. Like, our rules are so much better than the NFL rules for excitement and making every play count. Like, how many plays in the CFL are nothing plays where it just stops and guys just run off the field? And you look at the NFL and that happens 12, 15 times a game, you know, on a punt or a kickoff or a missed field goal or whatever. It's just a nothing play.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing I was going to say, a couple things. I really liked your first caller, Sheldon. Great insights and great comments and great passion that he had. Hopefully that your show will keep attracting guys like that and ladies like that, you know, people that really care and enjoy the game. Looking at the game, I would say really it came down to those 3 fourth quarter turnovers. You know, those, if we didn't get those 3 turnovers by the defense to get the Riders those touchdowns in the fourth quarter, like, it's not even close. So that was, I think, to me, that was the key of the game, was those 3 turnovers.
Hey, Ryan, I appreciate your support. Keep it up, and you can call in anytime, okay, bud?
You bet, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, Manny, talk about that being on a sideline. You got the momentum, and then it just feels like it's slipping away. You have one simple turnover deep in your zone, and all of a sudden you're on the ropes.
Yeah, man, the game get tricky, man, and that's the crazy part. Every rep matters, and you got to take advantage of drives, and you got to learn to extend drives. You know, the thing is, I don't care how good a quarterback is, if he's on the other sideline, he can't beat you watching. So that's the thing. We got to stay on the field, and we got to get points. And for my guy, Dr. Phil, what he say? Manny, would you say you begin sucking at the end of your
Yeah,
career?
yeah.
Now tell him. Now I became more of a role player where my assignment changed, and I would like to know: have you begun sucking probably at the end of the career that you in right now?
I love
And
it.
then it asked me where I texting the Salvation Army. Nah, that was actually Scott Cloven, a former Edmonton help that's up there in Edmonton now, that was just messaging me, and I was letting them know that I was on air. But yeah, so like you say, respond to these folks in the chat. That's what I'm responding to.
I love
And
it. I love it.
and I had to remember that it's ballsy show. And I
Yeah.
always was thinking, you know what, I can't respond to these people because you know fans can say what they want and you can't answer back. But now he say this is his show. You say what you want to say. So now that's what it now. But now I wouldn't say that. So it's always, you know, you have a role, man, and that's something that you have to embrace as a player. So
You know what?
but
You know what? Hey, this show's ballsy uncut. You can fucking say whatever you want to say, and I'm glad. I'm glad you're calling out people. But talk about that. Hey, talk about that though. Okay, when you started in your career, social media wasn't as big as it is now. What would you say to the young guys in terms of it? It's probably not as hot in Edmonton right now because they're not in a pressure cooker. But in Saskatchewan, or if you're an Edmonton Oiler, Connor McDavid can't even go buy a beer and people are all over him, okay? And they'll say, well, you're a pro athlete, you got to take that. But you're also a human being. So what would your advice be to a teammate to stay off of social media, stay out of it during the season? Because you know, that's negative bullshit at times.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes, man, mentally it can take you completely out your game, and it kind of make it hard for you to be where your feet are, because you're looking for the validity of fans and people to accept you or make you feel that you're this great athlete. So if you log on to Twitter, somebody saying, "Hey, you suck," or "You lost us the game," that can drive some people into a great depression. So if I'm a guy that know I can't handle the social media, you know what? For those 6 months I'm there, I'm gonna back off of it. And sometimes it's letting your family members know when they get in the group chats. I mean, on the Facebooks and this and that, you can't comment to what some fans say for them just being idiots or just being childish. Like whoever this Dr. Phil person is, that just feel they just want to comment with just something crazy. You just look at it, let it be. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, man, you there. You know what, to put your best foot forward. This is your career. This is your livelihood. This is how you feed your family. So you can't let social media, you know, kind of define who you are. But some people look to that in this new era of athletes. That's all they know. So if they're not feeling accepted through social media, you can kind of see a dip in their game. But for me, if I know that I'm one of them people, take the app off your phone.
Yeah.
I'm not going to entertain social media during the season because it affects how I play.
I don't know if you had a chance to watch the game yesterday, Hamilton and Calgary, but how'd you like how Bo Levi Mitchell looked? I thought his arm looked lively. He actually looked like he was a little more nimble than I remember him being. He had a little bit of pressure off the tackles, off the edges, but he looked pretty good yesterday for the most part, I thought.
Yeah, man, it's just about keeping Bo upright. You know what? Can we keep Bo upright for the next 18, 19 weeks of football? And, you know, injury, you know, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, but, you know, the injury bug comes around. And I think that's the biggest thing for people with Bo is just to keep him healthy. And, you know, some people say he had a drop off or he's not the same guy no more. He was just a system quarterback in Calgary. Man, the name of the game is availability is your best ability. So if you can keep guys healthy and they can put forth the body of work that they're known for doing, they take care of everything. And for the stuff guy that was asking, okay, Craig Dickinson, now he was solid as a head coach. You know, he was more a specialist. He was big on special teams and his schemes, but he allowed his coordinators and his position coaches, which at the time I had McAdoo and Coach Travis Moore was my receiver guy. And I also dealt with Coach Clint, the strength coach, a lot throughout that organization, but he let his guys coach and do what it was that they had to do. But I know with Coach Dickey, yeah, he was a special teams guy, so he dealt more hands-on with them, but he addressed us as a team and respected us as men and expected us to go out there and do our job. You know, he wasn't a man of many words. Hey, go do your job. And that's kind of how it was in 2019 when I was with the Rough Riders. He expected guys to go out and do what they were expected to do.
Yeah. Hey, lastly, before we wrap up I'm going to get to each show. I'm going to do who showed big balls and who didn't show balls. Okay. It just kind of who played well, who didn't play well, or maybe we need to see more of. But if you're in that Edmonton locker room right now, there has to be immense pressure to win. 4-14, 4-14. It used to be back in the day before you were even thinking about the CFL. You saw with all those guys here, they're celebrating the 75th anniversary. It was the city of champions. The Edmonton Eskimos were winners, and the Oilers were winners, and they were neck and neck. Okay, Gretzky hanging around with Warren Moon, like all the guys hung out together. It's really on two levels now. It's the Oilers, and then down here, the Edmonton Elks. We talked about it, it could be a good football town if they win again, but you're in that locker room where there's immense pressure. As a veteran guy, what would you be doing to kind of, saying to the guys, it's only one game, it's the first game. You could have won the game, but that's kind of been the narrative with this team. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. We lost by 3 points here. We lost by 4 points there, but a loss is a loss, man.
Hey, man, we got to play with a sense of urgency. This is how guys feed their family. You know what I'm saying? You can't take this game for granted. And you're going to meet amongst your vets and let your vets know that each position group, hey, man, we need to show up after this day off with a sense of urgency, attention to detail. Make sure people in here breaking down this film, and we trying to do things the right way. We don't need these coaches coaching us. They really here just as overseer. We grown men. We got to do our job. And that's how guys got to look at it. It ain't no hollering and all this here for show stuff. Like, you can fool the coaches, but you can't fool the players. So you don't need rah-rah guys right now. You need guys that's committed to the cause and that's going to say, hey, we finna get back on track. And that's what you need. And sometimes when you got a bunch of guys that don't know what that is, that's why you got to have veteran guys. But sometimes when the blind leading the blind, anything can happen.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay, so talk to me quickly about 3 defensive players. By the way, Jason Fichter from the Rider Prider fan page down there saying he's loving the show. Ballsy's back, but he's back with his buddy Manny Arsenault calling people out. I love it. Hey, talk to me about these 3 defenders. I think Edmonton really missed Luches Purifoy, who is a Swiss Army knife back there. Not only is a defensive player, but a returner, because they kind of have a little a younger secondary, and Trevor Harris really feasted on that today.
Yeah, O'Neal, the Sam guy that came in that was near the box. You know what? I liked him, Broderick. My French guy, I kind of like his game as he came around. And I just need Kai. For Kai Gray, he just got to be consistent. You know, you got a little notoriety last year. It's a target on your back, so to whom much is given, much is expected. So he just got to play big boy ball from here on out. And you just can't go through the motion or just be a one-hit wonder. But I liked O'Neal around the box, flying around. Broderick got in. He actually got a sack. I don't think Trevor got across the line of scrimmage, but having packages for him on defense. Like I say, man, I love when Canadian content is involved in the game and is not dealing with just special teams.
Well,
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, man, because I've been hey, listen, I love my Americans. Americans are star players when they come here. They've been playing since they're 4 and 5. Canadians, hockey's our game. We're a little slower on the curve, okay? But you need Canadians. You need the C in the CFL for what you said a few minutes ago. You need to have inspiration. I grew up down the street from Jaden Dahlke or Taylor or Broderick, and I want to be that next guy. My son's like that. He grew up a Rider fan watching the Getzlaffs and those guys, and he hopes to play in the league. You need that. That's why we need Canadians in the Canadian Football League.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Now let's talk about a couple of other defenders on the Riders who deserve their just due. I'm a big Revis guy, CJ Revis, and Roland Milligan. As much as it hurt last year when Trevor Harris went down, when Roland Milligan went down, that really affected that defense.
Yes. Revis, he couldn't get off any blocks. I remember him near the box.
Yeah.
I was dealing with him and Moncrief. They couldn't get off the Manny Show blocks. But nah, you know what? Look. But nah, listen, I love his game, man. He's physical. You know what? He's gonna come down and play, he's gonna give you everything you got. Man, the defensive front, I give they played when they needed to play for SAS. You know, that D line showed up. And on the back end, man, as good as your D-line is, that's going to take care of everything on the back end where guys can just play their technique, play their zones. And if they got to play man, they won't be afraid. But I just know Revis, he was a big part to that secondary because for so long you knew it was Moncrief or those guys like, okay, you know what, he can play Sam, he can play safety. But just having those young guys and the people that's year 2, year 3, coming along, you know what, it's gonna get scary. And they got a good coach over there in Josh Bell. I know Josh Bell was my teammate in BC, and he's about the details. And everywhere he been, the secondary, man, they be guys that get after, whether it was when he played in Calgary, when he played in BC, they had that personality of him. And even when he was in Toronto coaching. So now it's interesting, to see these guys get after. But both teams, I look at it this way, they can only get better.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I want to give a couple shouts out here. We got Michael Simon says, Manny, you're a natural. TSN should sign you or 630 Chet in Edmonton to go and be on their broadcast. Hey, man, they can't steal you yet. I need you for a little while longer. Glenn Duke says, glad to have you back and glad you got Manny running shotgun. Great post-game show. That's from Linda. And Tim Dog is listening. Thanks to Tim for listening. Okay, so I'll do this every game, and I'll get you to collaborate next week when we take on the Tiger Cats. Who showed big balls? We could have a couple of candidates here. Sean Payne Jr. had the 3 touchdown game. He'd be an obvious, but I'm going to go with the gray beard, Trevor Harris, coming back from a career-threatening injury on a slick turf. His starting potential all-star right guard goes down. He was the lineman of the year for the Riders last year, goes down because he's kicked out Logan Ferland, and all he does is throw 3 touchdown passes. I love what Trevor Harris did today.
I agree with you because I had Edmonton winning this game. I'm like,
me too.
Back. I'm like, McLeod going to come in. He's a natural leader. Edmonton's playing at home. You should always win in your backyard. You know what? The pressure on Saskatchewan. Let's see what they do. And how the game started off, I was like, okay, all right, you know what, Edmonton, they starting this thing off right. But you know what? I tip my hat off to Trev, man. He doing Trevor Harris type things, and that's getting the ball out, finding ways to win, and always keeping his team in it.
And then the one who didn't show balls was, I'll give it to Logan Ferland. I love Logan Ferland, and by that I mean that's just a dumb penalty. It puts your team in a bad spot, and he'd even say that. But my last thing I wanted to bring up about that, we're going to watch hockey tonight. There's fighting in the regular season, but not so much in the playoffs. And I'm not a big advocate of fighting in hockey. I think it's stupid. What do you think about punches thrown in football? Should a guy be kicked out for that, or how do you feel about that?
Well, one, I made that dumb mistake when I used to play against Brandon Brown or, Dwight Anderson. I still got the stitches here. You can't punch through a helmet, so don't punch at nobody. And it's corny. You know what? I learned my lesson after that. But keep it on the field between the whistles, keep it clean, and then go impose your will on your opponent, And like you say, the elbow, it's a violent shove. But if I'm 300, 200 pounds and this guy 100 pounds, you know what, next play, or if you call yourself blitzing through the A-gap, I'm going to dump you on your head, and I'm going to catch you between the whistles. And that's what guys got to do, man. Keep the plays between the whistles, because once you start getting these penalties, they're going to start looking for it. So now, you know what? They're going to look, hey, man, this guy plays this way, and it can be a crucial time. You don't even do nothing. The flag going to be thrown because that's the reputation that you built, and that's what you don't want in the league. It's a small league. You don't want to build that reputation of a guy that's going to always have flags drawn in crucial times of games.
Manny, thanks for your time, man. Love to have you on again, maybe as early as next week if you'd be up to it when the Riders take on the Tiger Cats.
Oh, yeah, let me know.
All right, man. Thanks. Take care. Have a great day, bud.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. That was Manny Arsenault joining us from Texas, where he's doing some coaching and motivational speaking. Our balls are bigger. Post-game show. Yeah, you can swear if you want. You can, we're not gonna silence you. As you saw, Manny even called you out for some stupid chat messages. Yeah, they're stupid. We'll let you, within reason, say what you want to say. Within reason. But I'm the boss, so I call all the shots, which I'm not going to lie to you, I kind of like. Anyway, can't wait till next week. We will be here right after the Riders take on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Once again, the final score here, a big victory by your Saskatchewan Roughriders. If you're a Rough Rider fan, I don't cheer for any team this year as they rally and knock off the Edmonton football team 29 to 21, coming back after they were down big time. 21 to, what was it? 21 to 8, 21 to 7 at one point. And the Edmonton Elks fall on home turf once again before all those great, the greats. And man, were they great. You had, at one point in the room, you had Dunnigan, Ham, and Damon Allen. Speaking of Dunnigan, he joins me on Ballsy Uncut, which is our 3 times a week podcast on Monday. Matt Dunnigan's going to be with me. Bob Dice is going to be with me, the coach of the Ottawa Redblacks, who are off in week 1. And we're also going to hear from Mark Trestman, former Grey Cup winning coach with the Alouettes and Argos. He is now a senior offensive assistant with the San Diego Chargers of Los Angeles. He will join, I call him that. He is going to join us on Monday as well. Tell all your friends about the best post-game show in the land. And depending how popular this gets, we'll do it after some other select CFL games, not just the Riders. I'm not the voice of the Riders. I'm not the flag waver for the Riders. I'm going to call it like I see it. And today, they didn't look great for about 2 quarters, but found a way to win the football game in Edmonton. And that's all that matters, making Corey Mace a winner in his debut as coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. For my assistant Dean behind the scenes and my buddy Manny Arsenault, I'm Michael Ball saying so long and thanks for checking us out.